operations and obstruction of business are some dimensions of a wrong culture robbing our citizens of shared prosperity. I have discussed these issues with the management of the Kenya Revenue Authority. I have discussed these issues with the Commissioner General. I have brought to his attention many of the practices that go on at the moment. For example, we are selling 2.9 billion stamps for our sizable products, while our neighbor, Tanzania, is selling 7.2 billion stamps. Uganda is selling 9 billion stamps. Those two economies are smaller than ours. It means we should be selling between 10 billion and 12 billion stamps. But the trouble is, the government is selling 2.9 billion stamps. There are people who are selling the balance, which is approximately 7 billion stamps. And I have told the Commissioner General he must tell these people to stop. And we have no choice. Because I do not want to fight with people, but I must stop. I want to tell the good people in KRA, good people, you must stop. Because I have given enough information to Commissioner General to sort out that mess. And I have told him if he doesn't sort out the mess, I will sort it out myself. And we should be able to collect enough money. We are determined, and let me repeat, we are determined to effect decisive change in order to swiftly reverse this unsatisfactory state of affairs. The practice of citizen harassment as a means of tax administration is unacceptable. In the past, revenue collection registered dramatic growth. This was as a result of an effective national mobilization strategy which appealed to our fundamental values and identity and employed citizen education, engagement, and facilitation. Revenue then accounted for 18% of our GDP. In more recent times, the tax administration instruments have been weaponized to achieve objectives that are extraneous and inimical to enterprise continuity, investment sustainability, due process, and the rule of law. The consequences are painful to contemplate. Our GDP has risen to Kenya shillings 12 trillion, yet KRA only raised about 14% of GDP in revenues last year. In the past, KRA was able to raise 18% of GDP. If we collect the same target today, then we would have raised an extra 400 billion shillings. In that case, I expect KRA to raise at least 3 trillion by the end of the next financial year and to double the current collection in 5 years. Let me repeat, for the avoidance of doubt. I expect Kenya Revenue Authority to raise 3 trillion by the end of next financial year and to double the current collection in 5 years. I can see the Commissioner General recording. Let me repeat it again so that you get it right. As already indicated, we are committed to instituting comprehensive culture change at the Kenya Revenue Authority in order to make it much more supportive of taxpayers. To achieve this, it will be necessary to radically reform KRA and make it a people-friendly, customer-centric organization that facilitates taxpayer compliance as a core tax administration strategy. At the same time, it will be an explicit mandate of KRA to maximize tax collection while minimizing the compliance burden on the taxpayer. The time for extravagant rebranding exercises, diversionary and cosmetic changes is far behind us. It is now time for a radical shift in our KRA model, focusing on a robust service charter anchored on technology, which explicitly commits to transform customer relationships, simplify the taxpayer processes, and optimize existing facilities to provide efficient services. This shift must demonstrate strong commitment to the principle of impartial taxation, where the tax burden reflects ability to pay. KRA must therefore set out a strong and transparent integrity assurance mechanism embedded in an equally vigorous corruption prevention framework in order to create a stakeholder confidence in the transparency and accountability of its processes. The entire organization must evolve into a community united by transformed corporate culture based on shared values, including the principle of public finance. KRA must also reflect equity by shifting from the overtaxing of trade and undertaxing of wealth to enable the wealthy bear an appropriate burden. As I have said before, our operating philosophy in matters revenue mobilization is going to be hierarchical. This means that we shall tax wealth, consumption, income, and trade in that order. A safe, and by the way, I will lead from the front by paying my taxes. And every company associated with me will lead from the front in paying taxes. There will be no exemptions for whoever. There will be a fair tax regime where everybody is treated equally. The animal farm will not be part of the principle of paying tax. A safe, secure, and conducive environment is necessary for enterprise growth and maturity. Tax administration must consistently, in a coherent, impartial, and rational manner. Business requires simple and reliable tax systems and technologies. Our financial technology space has come of age, and talented Kenyans are now able to offer safe, secure, stable, effective solutions at very competitive rates. The National Treasury and KRA must continuously engage with stakeholders in order to collaboratively review tax policy and make it conducive to traders and micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises to enter the tax bracket. To this end, the current draft national tax policy should incorporate our new economic strategy and spending plans. The KRA must take positive steps to make the business environment favorable for Kenyan traders, and at the same time, it must seal revenue leakages, leverage trade facilitation technology to efficiently and effectively manage border points, and to promote the efficiency of cross-border trade. Our plan aims at transforming the over 10 million Kenyans currently struggling to put a meal on the table into new taxpayers through interventions to rapidly increase incomes at the bottom of the pyramid. Our pledge to commit investments to the informal sector is intended to lift these millions from the bottom of the economic pyramid into active wealth creators, significantly broadening the tax base. A crucial pillar of this vision involves attracting high-quality investments in all sectors. Tax administration must not be a barrier to investor confidence or a factor of high cost of doing business. This dramatic economic uplift will be situated in the MSME sector, which traditionally employs close to 90% of new entrants to the labor force. Our government will empower this sector through financial instruments to provide affordable and accessible financing to MSMEs. And for its part, KRA must ensure that our tax administration is fit for purpose, with a tax structure that enables MSMEs contribute to national development, even as we make them viable enterprises. There exists tremendous potential for the KRA to play a significant role as the engine of national transformation. In order to rise to this full promise, it is time for KRA to finally catch up with the digital transformation that has swept through the country, positively transforming our social, economic, and political landscape. A professional, people-friendly, customer-centric KRA should leverage technology and lighten the tax-paying burden through universal tax registration. The imperative of embracing technology solutions to KRA strategic issues is clear. There are only 7 million people with KRA PIN numbers. At the same time, in the same economy, Safaricom's Mpesa has 30 million registered customers transacting billions daily. The fact that this opportunity remains unclear to KRA demonstrates why radical changes are necessary. Every Kenyan with an ID should have a PIN number, just as simple as that. Technology and a considerate, fair, and professional mobilization will do the job quite well. Safaricom, a telco, has registered more people than KRA, a powerful state organization. It is very clear that the magic lies in technology and strategy, not in power and resources. Bwana Siji, umesikia hiyo story? I'm happy you're taking notes. The agenda I have set out to recalibrate and reorient our tax administration framework signifies our appreciation of the contribution of our taxpayers who continue to embrace their patriotic share of practical nation-building efforts. We must not deny any eligible Kenyan their opportunity to take part in the noble task of affirming freedom and entrenching our sovereignty. Universal tax registration is a historic endeavor to enlist all Kenyans in the patriotic effort of reinforcing our independence by enhancing self-reliance. We must pay attention to KRA because it plays an indispensable role in mobilizing the resources required to enhance the well-being of Kenyans and finance necessary measures for growing the national cake. How we do our tax administration can determine whether KRA is a fulcrum in a virtuous or a vicious cycle in our public finance management system. The measures I have set out, therefore, demonstrate our government's full appreciation of the KRA as a guarantor of national development. We are clear in our understanding that it must become even more effective in this mandate. I pledge my total support for KRA and KRA's role and evolution towards optimal tax administration for our historic transformation era. I also commit, as I have done, to champion the commitment that every Kenyan who has the potential to pay tax actually pays their fair share of taxes. We have had discussion that there are alternative mechanisms of getting things done. For example, you just had the governor of Nairobi to be able to collect the rates and rents. We didn't have a valuation code, rates valuation code, because the law had a problem. When I asked how we are going to sort it out, we were told that there is a law that is waiting to go to Parliament. Once it is passed, someday, then we can have the rates valuation code, which we haven't had for a couple of years. And what that has done is that there is a pileup of cases, alone in Nairobi, about 6,000, blocking the opportunity for us to raise taxes. With just a little consultation with the governor of Nairobi and the Chief Justice, today the valuation rates code is being gazetted. Just to confirm to you, CG, that there are alternative ways of resolving issues. Let me give you another example. We passed the law on contributions to our National Social Security Fund in 2014. It's been in court for 9 years. The potential for it to be in court for another 9 years is real. We decided to call COTU, Federation of Kenya Employers, and everybody. We had a chat. And today, again, we are gazetting the new regulations for NSSF. So when I tell you there are alternative mechanisms of resolving issues, I can give you examples. So I encourage the KRA to work on alternative mechanisms of resolving whatever outstanding issues with taxpayers, so that instead of being punitive, it becomes facilitative of our taxpayers to pay tax. It is the only way, CG and your team, that you will meet the targets I have given you. You have to think outside the box. I am determined to ensure that our tax system is responsive to the needs of the new era in Kenya tax administration. I commit to become your ambassador by leading Kenyans in paying taxes. I want to thank you very much, and congratulations to all the outstanding men and women in this room who lead the way in paying taxes and keeping our country independent. Asanteni sana.